already have enough on your plate, so here are 5 things that you can quit in the new year to help lighten your load and live unburdened. Let's go. Hi guys, it's Laura and I help you live a simpler, happier, more spacious life. And the very first thing you should quit in the new year is putting yourself down. I have started calling people out on this because it hurts my heart so much. I cannot listen to another woman say something negative about her appearance, and I particularly hear it around makeup, women apologizing for not being made up. Listen, I know we all want to put our best foot forward, we all want to appear polished and put together, but I promise you, I am not watching your Instagram stories thinking, well, she really could have done with a smoky eye there, or a more fashionable top. And I'm not saying don't wear makeup, don't wear trendy, fashionable clothes if that is something you want to do, if that is something that you get enjoyment from. I'm simply saying that you also look beautiful without that stuff. You are the only lifelong friend that you will ever have. Be kind to yourself. Next on the list then is adulthood, or, you know, like society's idea or version of what adulthood should be. You know what I'm talking about? Acting grown up, being serious, being professional, dressing a certain way. Now, I know that as we get older, we have more responsibilities, we have more things to take care of, but that does not mean that we have to be dull. Look, I paint rainbows on my walls and I still pay my bills. I find joy and laughter in the little things. And I still file my taxes. I am a child at heart and I still look after my own child. Speaking of my child, I am guilty of this one because I find myself telling her to be a big kid, you know, when I want her to take responsibility for something, or if I'm trying to get her to overcome a fear. Or when I'm praising her, you know, I might say something like, you know, great job, you're a big kid now, you're all grown up. And it happens in school too. It happens from a very young age to all of us. You know, when we first start school, we are learning through play, and then somewhere along the way, the play gets separated from the learning. You know, you do the learning first, the serious work, and then you have a brief break where you can play, and then you get back to the serious stuff. Like, who decided that separating learning and work from enjoyment was a good idea? We seem to have put them in separate boxes. You know, we've got the serious box, and that seems to get bigger and bigger as you get older. And then we've got the silliness box, which most of us try and just slide out of sight. Let's just stop all of this nonsense that says that adults have to act in a certain way. That if you don't fit that mold, you know, if you don't act all serious and grown up, and if you don't dress a certain way, and if you are childlike at heart, that suddenly makes you childish, you know, in the pejorative sense of the word. Allow joy and frivolity into your life. Allow it to be vibrant and colorful and adventurous. Take back out your silliness box and learn to play again. You can still take care of all of your responsibilities, but just have a little fun along the way. Another thing to quit in the new year is settling for second best. You know that you are destined for bigger things, and no, they're not going to happen overnight. Yes, they might require some sacrifice, but we get one life. One. It does not make sense for it to be anything less than the best that we can make it. And everyone's best is going to look different, and your best will even look different at different stages in your life. After I had my daughter, my best back then was just getting out of bed and getting through the day. Now, thankfully, that has since changed. If you are currently going through that stage, I promise you, it gets better. Now I'm wondering what my best will be in the next year, you know, the new season of my life in my current circumstances. You don't have to set goals if that's not your thing, but you also don't have to settle for whatever comes your way. You don't have to settle for a life on the sofa if what you really want is to be out exploring. You were not meant to be mediocre. You have something valuable to contribute, and you can and will do that in the coming year. Oh, this next one, cut this right out of your life immediately, if not sooner. Staying in your lane. Oh, how we love to put things in neat little categories, neat little boxes, wrap them up with a nice little bow. We like to label things. We like things to stay the same. We really enjoy predictability. And there are plenty of people out there who will want you to stay the same because it suits them. But you can have so many different interests and hobbies, careers, pastimes, pursuits, passions, even friendships. I say this as an introvert currently struggling to just maintain one friendship. You can have so many different chapters in your story. You are not bound by any one thing. You do not have to stay in the same lane, even if you have been in that lane for a long time. And unlike traffic lanes, you can be in multiple of them at once. You can be multifaceted. You can go all in on one thing, do that for as long as you'd like and then switch. Or you can pursue multiple different things at the same time. You can have your 9 to 5 and also your passion project, your hobby. You can do different things. You can test them out, trial and error. You can try one thing, you can switch to another thing. You can switch back again. Just because you have always done things a certain way or been a certain way does not mean that you have to stay that way. You don't have to be stuck in one lane. Just mirror, signal, maneuver. Get yourself out of Groundhog Day and start exploring all facets of your personality. See where your curiosity takes you. You also want to cut out whatever your bad triggers are, and I mean that in the habit sense, not in the trauma sense. Whatever encourages you to do something or think something that doesn't value who you are or who you want to be. For me, I am a very emotional person. I feel things deeply and it takes me a long time to process my feelings. Bad feelings for me, being sad, being upset, can be a trigger for me to do things that are not in my best interests overall, like eating sugary foods or going shopping to try and make myself feel better. The reality is though that those things don't actually make me feel better. In the long run, they just make me feel worse. So now that I recognize that, and now that I know that the resulting behavior is not something that is good or beneficial for me, I can start to rewire that. When I have a bad feeling, I am going to pause, take some time to reflect and process those feelings, maybe journal about it, maybe meditate on it, maybe even sleep on it, because I don't know how many times I have been really annoyed or upset about something and it seems like the end of the world, like it's this big disastrous thing, and then I sleep on it, I wake up the next morning and I feel just fine, like I forget all about it. This is something I've actually said to my husband, if I'm annoyed about something, let me sleep on it. If I'm still annoyed the next day, then we need to deal with it. But usually I won't even remember when I wake up the next morning. So if there's something in your life that you'd like to give up or even just cut down on, get to the root of the issue. What is causing you to act or think in that way? What is the inciting incident and how would you prefer to respond to it? This could be as simple as a social account that you follow online, and every time you see something pop up in your feed from them, it makes you feel bad. In that case, unfollow. It could even be a certain time, so maybe you find that when the weekend rolls around or on payday or maybe mid-afternoon when you're experiencing that mid-afternoon slump, those are the times when you generally tend to slip into bad habits. Figure out what those triggers are for you and then work to either eliminate them or at least limit them. Also stick to one for now, just so you're not spreading yourself too thin, you're not trying to overhaul your entire life in one go. And realize that it's probably not going to work every single time. And that's okay. You know, some behaviors, some patterns are hardwired in. They are cemented into our subconscious, and it can take a lot of time. It can take a lot of energy to chip away at that. It can take trial and error before you can learn to replace that. But you will get better with practice and some patience. And look, even if you only manage to do it like 10% of the time, that is still a huge improvement. If you want to know the most impactful habits that I implemented last year, then check out this video right here. Until then, gur raibh míle maith agaibh. Agus feici mé sibh sigalua. Slán!